Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm going to bring you recommendations of 5 really easy to read young adult contemporary books. So let's get started with today's video. The first book that I'm going to recommend today is Looking for Alaska by John Green. Now, this is the first novel to have ever been written by John Green. This is a sad story and it deals with the story of a boy who's named Miles. It takes place in a high school backdrop, just as most young adult contemporary books take place. And in this, Miles lives a very normal life of a really normal boy, but when he meets Alaska, everything in his life gets changed. He gets into the wildlife of a teenager, and he also experiences very different things than he's used to. And at the end, when something happens to Alaska, his life gets changed in such a way it is not going to be the normal thing which it used to be before. So if you like sad stories, if you like reading sad stories, then go for Looking for Alaska by John Green. Next book that I'm going to recommend is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. Now, this is a book that is a bit different from the other books that I'm recommending today because this speaks about a special medical condition of the main character, who is Madison. She has this specific disease which makes her allergic to almost everything in the world. So she has to live inside her home, more particularly inside her room itself, and it describes very well how the life of such a person who's having a fatal disease can be. It also has a big plot twist which can be a bit easily judged by some people, and others will be a bit thrown away while they reach that part of the book. It is the first book of the author, just like Looking for Alaska by John Green. This is the first book of Nicola Yoon. She writes these really sweet books that are easy to read, and it is written in such a format that you can read it very quickly. That is, you can read the entire book within a day. It is 200 plus pages long, but the reading of the book is so easy. It can be quickly read because it is not written in such a way that it has paragraph after paragraph of the story. It is written format where we get medical reports, we get conversations, we get message replies between the two main characters. And I forgot to mention the male lead, or the second important character in the story, who's Ollie, the neighbor of Maddie, who comes in, and due to him her life gets changed and she discovers many things which she might not have discovered otherwise in her life. If you like reading about special medical conditions, then you can read Everything Everything because it describes the disease in a very good way. The next book that I've read is the form of an audiobook, so I just put up a poster of the book over here, or the picture of the book over here. The book that I'm speaking about is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Now, this book has a kind of a sci-fi twist in the story because it happens in our same world in which we live, but the only difference is that people will know the day when they are going to die by using a phone call. If you're going to die today, you'll be getting a phone call at the beginning of the day saying that you're going to die today, but the reason for your death or the time of your death will not be said to you because no one knows it. It is just known that you're going to die today, and you will be informed that thing. This thing changes almost everything in a normal world, right? And Adam Silvera has written these two boys who are going to die on the same day, and they tend to meet due to this app out there. And the story is very beautifully written, and he has clearly established the various things that can happen in such a world. If you're going to die today, what are the things that will run on in your mind, and how will it be when you meet a person who's also going to die on the same day, and that person also doesn't know when or how he or she is going to die. It is written in a very beautiful way, and he has dug into many uh, thriving issues in the world in his story. It deals with bullying in a very good way, but I should say, if you want to read a very strong and very different and diverse young adult contemporary book, you have to read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is also a sad story, but I can say that even that sadness is very much worth reading the book. The next book I'm going to suggest is also an audiobook which I read. That is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, who is the author of Everything Everything also. This is her second book. Now, in The Sun is Also a Star, we have two people named Daniel and Natasha. These two are in such a way that they are totally different people from different races. Natasha is an African American girl, and Daniel is a Korean American boy. And these two people meet a day, and they have very serious issues that are happening in their lives in the same day. It shows their interactions in the from the beginning of the day to the end, and how their families are. We are able to experience a lot of things from, sorry, I said African, but they are Jamaican, not African. To be specific, Jamaican. So Jamaican and Korean um, cultures are a bit explored in this story, and the households of Daniel and Natasha are also shown here and there throughout the story, which makes us feel more empathetic towards the two characters. It is written in such a way that the story progresses in a very, very sad way, and it also seems like it might end sad during the time which it ends in a very happy note. But the happy note is a very old cinematic type of a happy note, but I like that because the story was not boring at all for me personally. And if you want to read stories of insta love and also things which deal with sadness more compared to any other books, then you can go for The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. The final book that I'm going to recommend today is a very happy book after all the sad books that I've recommended for today, and it is Girl Online by Zoe Sugg. Now, this is a book written by a YouTuber, and it is set up in the UK, unlike all the other books which were set up in the US. Now, there's a girl named Penny who's an introvert and a very good photographer. She's a blogger as well who has a huge following for her blog. So, one day something bad happens to her, and this causes some sort of trauma in her mind. Her parents are wedding planners. They get an opportunity to host a wedding in New York, so she is taken with them to New York in order to get her out of this trauma, where she meets a guy and things happen. And when she returns back to the UK, she finds out that the guy who she met she finds some things about the guy who she met in the US, and some bad things happen as well. But the ending of the story is very good. There are two main pillars for the story. One is that uh, trauma incident for Penny, which happens uh, during it in the starting of the book, and the second one is the friendship between Penny and her best friend named Elliot, who's gay. It shows how jealousy can come in friendship, and even despite that jealousy, how friendship can thrive a bit more. And it also shows how a friend's parents can treat their child's friend in a very, very good way. So if you're trying to read something that is happy and that can give you hope, go for Girl Online by Zoe Sugg. Okay, that's all for today. If you find any of the plots of these books interesting, do read them and tell your opinions on the books for me in the comments below, and we can discuss on them. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to the channel if you would like to get more content from me. Thanks for watching.